If you would, please be seated. Thank you. This truly is a special occasion for everyone in the room, but certainly for the families of our three honorees tonight. They are certainly distinguished by a life of service to their communities, to our country, and obviously to our great university as well. So on behalf of the Alumni Association, once again, let me welcome you. I just met Terry and Mica for the first time tonight, and it was a great honor to do so. But Dan Howard has been a mentor and a coach of mine for about 100 years. And actually, when I was 24 years old, Dan began kind of guiding me through life. And if anybody to blame, it's Dan Howard. But Dan and Kay, if you know them well at all, they're hip. Man, I mean, they're modern. They're with it. They have stayed up with the times. And so technology has not bothered them at all. So one day, Kay sends Dan a text that says, and I quote, "Windows frozen, won't open." Dan texts back and said, "Pour lukewarm water on it and then tap gently with a hammer around the edges." And about 5 minutes later, Kay texts back, "Computer really messed up now." So at least one of the two of them is technologically savvy. I think that falls squarely in Kay's corner. I just met Terry and some of his family and found out that he has a grand dog, and he's got a granddaughter right here too that he's holding in his arms. But Axel is their dog, their daughter's dog, and he was in the store one day buying some Purina dog chow for Axel. And he was in the checkout line with a woman that was also going to check out, and she said, "Oh, do you have a dog?" And Terry, being a rather independent person, we'll call it, thinks to himself, "Does she think I have an elephant? I mean, what is wrong with this lady?" And so, on impulse, he said, "No, I don't have a dog, but I have been on this Purina dog chow diet, and it is working wonderfully. And the way you do it, you just put a few little nuggets in your pocket. Anytime you're hungry, you just pop one or two, and man, fulfills your longing right then." And I've lost about 50 pounds. Now, I found that out when I woke up in the intensive care unit of the hospital, and the lady said, did the food poison you?" And Terry simply said, "No, I stepped off a curb to sniff a poodle and got hit by a car." Don't believe that about Axel. Micah, I had a long one for you, but I've decided, well, I thought I was going to have a long one. I did some research, and as you know, being a government employee, the military, the United States Air Force, unless her emails are classified, then we have access to those as the public. And so I went online and did some research under the Freedom of Information Act, and this is the statement I came up with when it came to her Googling website about her emails. "All such requests have been referred to Hillary Clinton." And I'm not sure, so is that still true tonight? Okay, thumbs up, all right. Man, we have so many people here that need to be recognized, and you're all special guests, you know that, I hope. But let me point out a few people that I think maybe deserve some extra recognition tonight. The National Board of this Alumni Association is an incredibly hardworking board, full of bright, brilliant, dedicated people. So if you are a past president or a past or current board member of the Alumni Association, would you stand and just remain standing for a moment while we give you our appreciation, please? Stand up. Wow. Man, we're grateful for your commitment, and so glad that you're here this evening. I've seen several of our past recipients of the Distinguished Alumni Award. If you're here tonight, and you're still able to, will you please stand up? Everybody. There you go, Moody, Witt. Now, there's something about this table right here. There's three former, well, you're still distinguished. Not quite extinguished, Larry Bird, and then there's Howard at this one table. There's something wrong here. There really is. No, they all married good women. Here's some other special guests for you to meet tonight. First Lady of our university system, Ms. Terry Duncan, is with us. Terry, we're pleased to have you right over here. Thank you. First Lady of our university, Ruthie Nellis, is here. There you are right over there. You still have your autographed copy, Ruthie, of the Texas Texan that you signed for me a couple of years ago. Lawrence Skuvenick is with us tonight. Provost, good to have you, Larry. Glad you're here, sir. Mr. Scott Cooksey, Senior Associate Vice Chancellor for Institutional Advancement. I think that means he raises money. There you go, Scott. Glad to have you, sir. Ms. Lisa Calvert, Vice Chancellor of Institutional Advancement. Are you here, son? There you are. Thank you very much. Mr. Rob Duncan, Senior Vice President of Research. Rob, where are you tonight? Right over there. That's Bob's son. Dr. Michael San Francisco, Dean of our Honors College. There you are. Dr. Al Sacco, the Dean of Engineering. Nice to have you, sir. Guns up to you too, Dr. Sacco. Mr. Kirby Hokut, our Director of Athletics. Kirby. And my old basketball coach from Monterey High School, Mr. Gerald Myers, Athletic Director Emeritus. Has gone to the bathroom, I suppose. He's not here. I love Gerald Myers. Our Student Government Association President, Mr. Hayden Hatch, is with us tonight. Hayden, where are you? Nice to see you. You don't claim any relationship to Tim and Tommy, do you, Hayden? Just a little bit, grandson. All these people are special, but I have to say we are especially honored tonight to have the chairman of the House Committee of Rules of the United States Congress with us. Congressman Pete Sessions is here with us tonight. Congressman, welcome. We're glad to have you. His sons, Bill and Connor, are also here. If I got my story straight, Bill is currently a student here. And which one are you, Bill? Good. Oh, of course, you're the guy. Okay, this guy's been to Spirit Ranch 3 times, medical student. And Connor, do you need any arm twisting to come out here? Because we can give it to you. Going to be a freshman next year. Good. Congratulations to both of you. Mr. Tom Sellers of Sulphur Springs is our current president of the Alumni Association. He has a few remarks for you as well. Tom?
Good evening. Welcome to the Distinguished Alumni Dinner. I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We appreciate it very much. I want to say a special thanks to the National Board of Directors that I serve with. There are several dedicated individuals that give a lot of their time to Texas Tech, and really appreciate all that they do. Also would like to thank Bill Dean and his staff. These things don't just come together. Someone's behind the scenes working very hard, and Bill Dean and his staff do a great job, and they represent our university very well. Also, while I have this moment, I want to thank President Nellis for his leadership at Texas Tech. It's obvious that our future is bright with President Nellis and all that he is asking this university to achieve, and we are very fortunate to have he and his wife with us. Also would like to thank Chancellor Duncan for all he's done in the past as a state senator, and also for his leadership of the Texas Tech University system. Texas Tech is headed for great things, and we can all be proud of that leadership and where we're headed. The honorees tonight are well deserving. I have not had the pleasure to meet Dr. Endsley, but everything I have read is she is an outstanding individual in science and engineering, and it's obvious that the honor is well deserved. Dan Howard, who I happen to have a chance to meet today, everything I've been told about him, he's a fine example of a servant that leads through service to others. And that's great for any individual. And then Terry Fuller, who I do have the privilege of knowing Terry and Linda, and their dedication to this university is unparalleled in all that they've done and all the lives that they've touched. So it's great to have you here tonight. I hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you very much.
Dr. Dwayne Nellis is our next speaker, and if you begin making your way up to the stage, please, sir. He has given me the opportunity the last 2 years to help with a President's Leadership Institute, where approximately 10 to 12 faculty members and 10 to 12 staff members have been selecting as aspiring leaders on the campus, wanting to advance their careers in leadership. And I have to tell you, Dr. Nellis, we wrapped up our 5th and final module just Tuesday of this week, and you could not have chosen a better class of people to work with. Thank you for giving us the opportunity. Dr. Nellis, our president.
Thank you. Well, thank you, David, and it's great to be with all of you tonight on this special occasion as we recognized a very distinguished group of our alumni. I am so excited, I remain excited to be president of Texas Tech University during this time of great change and very positive change. You know, our university's on the move in many exciting ways, and I had the chance, just recently I was in New York City. Last week I was one of 5 presidents invited to meet with the media in New York City at the Penn Club, and it was a great evening, the opportunity to talk about what it means to be at a research university like Texas Tech, but to be there with other major research university presidents. It was a great opportunity to brag about the great things that are happening here at this institution. You know, we want to be a national research university, and we're moving aggressively in that way. And the leadership that Rob Duncan, our Vice President for Research, is providing, you know, we have to distinguish between Rob Duncan and Rob Duncan, and so we call our Vice President for Research R2D2 to make sure we keep them distinguished. But he's doing an awesome job working with the provost and our deans and our faculty to move us to the new level of success. I don't know what I said to disturb those people back there, but you know, we're doing so much on innovation, and we have a new research park building that we'll be dedicating here in a few months out on Quaker and 4th, and we already have our first tenant, Chromatin, which is moving here from Illinois, relocating here. It's a sorghum-based research company, organization, and it's a great location to be here in Lubbock and associated with Texas Tech. We continue to have record enrollments both in the fall and the spring, and our applications, even though we're raising the bar as far as the quality of students that we're bringing into the institution, we have record numbers of applicants to Texas Tech University for the fall of 2015. Numerous national rankings across the university, whether it's in engineering or business or agriculture or media and communication, human sciences, and beyond. We have so much to celebrate, and we have student teams winning national competitions in law and livestock and meat judging and areas such as that. We're attracting some of the best and the brightest faculty to Texas Tech. You know, we've hired over 250 new faculty in the last couple of years, and they're coming from some of the best institutions in the country, and we're often their first choice to be at Texas Tech because they know this is an exciting and dynamic time to be associated with this great university. But our alumni, the people that are in this room, you've made all this possible. You represent us so well. You know, when I go out and talk with corporate leaders around Texas and around the United States, they can't say enough positives about the alumni from Texas Tech. The training that they have, their attitude, their work ethic, that they just want to do the right thing and do it in a very quality way. And so you represent us so well. You're part of building that next level of excitement for Texas Tech as a national research university. So tonight's honorees are representative of this spirit that drives the people of our great university. And Texas Tech is very proud of Mica Endsley, Terry Fuller, and Dan Howard, and we're so excited to recognize them tonight. This group represents the fabric of what makes Texas Tech University a great institution, the role that they're playing in industry, in research, and as well as their attitude and generosity and loyalty back to their alma mater. And it's a pleasure to stand here and applaud our honorees tonight. To our honorees, I thank you for being so exemplary in representing your alma mater. And to all of you tonight, thank you for what you do for a great university. Thanks for being here tonight, and guns up!
Thank you, Dr. Nellis. Robert Duncan, our new chancellor, is making his way to the podium now. You remember the story of Esther in the Old Testament, where Esther was put in just the right place at just the right time? Don't you feel the same way about our new chancellor, Robert Duncan? What an incredible man to have at the helm. Bob, come on up.
Thank you, David, for not telling a joke about me. And Rob Duncan is my son, so Rob Jr. is what we call him around there. You know, this is a night that we celebrate what Texas Tech is all about, and when we celebrate our distinguished alumni, it shows that from here it is possible. We are fortunate, all of us as alumni of this great university, to have had faculty and deans and presidents and alumni and mentors that have helped us all to grow to where we have achieved success. And tonight is a real celebration. Mica, Dan, and Terry, congratulations to you. You're a great example of the type of leaders that Texas Tech University produces, and we are very excited about the opportunity to celebrate with you tonight what you have accomplished. You are not only leaders in your respective areas, but also you're leaders in terms of your passion for Texas Tech, and all of you have done great things for this university. I've known Terry since I've been chancellor and before, and just observing what he's done. Mica and I met at graduation, where she did a great job of inspiring our young people at graduation, and she probably still has a sore arm from shaking all those hands. And then Dan has been a friend for a long time and a long-time leader in this community and for Texas Tech University. And it's just really exciting to be here tonight and celebrate that. So congratulations to you. Remember, from here, it's possible. Guns up.
Thank you, Chancellor. The list of accomplished alumni from the university here in Lubbock, Texas is indeed long and impressive. Tonight, we're just going to get a brief glimpse into the lives of 3 of those individuals. Following each video that you're about to see, so in about 10 seconds, this would be a good time to reposition your chairs, either to look over to the south, back or the front, or up towards the front here. Bill Dean will present a plaque and a lapel pin after each video. And when that's complete, Chancellor Duncan will return to the platform and present them with their Distinguished Alumni medallions. Okay? Mike?
From early childhood, it was predicted that Mica Endsley's life would be a success story. After graduating from high school in Houston, she earned her bachelor's degree in industrial engineering from Texas Tech in 1982.
I first met Mica in the fall of 1979. I arrived as a brand new faculty member, and she was in the first class that I taught, which was a statistics class, probably for sophomore level students. What do I remember most about Mica from the class? Probably this very striking, long, dark-haired woman that come into a class that typically we do not have very many women in. Mica just stood out as a person. She stood out academically. And so it was a very interesting experience having her in that first class. And then later, she decided she was going to go to graduate school. And so I provided a recommendation for her. She decided she wanted to go to Purdue.
After completing her master's degree at Purdue, Endsley began working in the human factors field. Her first job was with Northrop Corporation in California, where she moved through the ranks working on exciting programs such as the Advanced Tactical Fighter and Cockpit Automation Technology. There, she was principal investigator of a program focused on the areas of situation awareness.
After Mica had completed her doctoral degree, she decided that she was interested in pursuing a teaching position. And I had been talking to her at some of these conferences, and so I said, gee, you ought to consider coming back to Tech. And so in the early 90s, we made her an offer. She accepted it. She came back and joined the industrial engineering faculty here at Texas Tech. And she spent, I believe, 6 or 7 years with us. And then she received the opportunity from MIT to go as a visiting professor there for a year.
She left academia to strike out on her own and formed SA Technologies, a cognitive engineering firm in Marietta, Georgia. As president, she leads a team of researchers and designers to apply high-caliber solutions to government, military, and industrial applications. Endsley has authored more than 200 scientific articles and is recognized internationally for her work. She is the current chief scientist of the United States Air Force. She works with top scientists and engineers within the Air Force, as well as in academia, industry, and other armed services to ensure that the R&D remains relevant and effective. Endsley is the first human factors engineer and the first female to serve as chief scientist. Numerous awards include the Texas Tech Alumni Association's New Faculty Award, Texas Tech Distinguished Engineer, and Atlanta Woman Magazine's Top 25 Women to Watch. President Dwayne Nellis invited Endsley to speak during the December 2014 commencement exercises.
Now, Texas Tech is a school that you can all be very proud of. It's steadily climbing in the rankings of top U.S. public universities and in its status as a top research institution. It was named one of the best in the West by the Princeton Review, and it's in the top 5% of affordable colleges with the highest return. These are all accomplishments to be proud of. After leaving Texas Tech with my bachelor's degree, I had the opportunity to study and teach at some of the most highly touted universities in this country. And I can tell you, without a doubt, that I wouldn't trade the well-grounded education that I received here at Texas Tech for any of them. Not only have you benefited from world-class education, but you've had the benefit of living and learning with some of the best people in the world. As Texas Tech continues to grow and develop its research reputation, I hope it never forgets the value of teaching and learning that occurs in an environment that treats students as family. It's a unique quality at this university that sets it apart from many. Now, I've been at Texas Tech a number of times in my life, first as a student, then as a faculty member, later to serve on the Industrial Engineering Department Advisory Board, and then as a parent, and now at this commencement. When I first graduated from Texas Tech over 30 years ago, I thought that was it. I never dreamed I would keep coming back this way. But I've learned that this university provides far more than that shiny diploma that you're going to get today. It provides the opportunity to build lasting relationships with your classmates and your professors. It provides learning experiences you'll take with you that far exceed what came out of your textbooks. It provides the opportunity to continue to give back and to make a great university even greater for those who follow behind you.
Mica's family includes husband Bill Jones, daughter Tristan Endsley, and stepdaughters Jessica Jones and Christine Jones.
She's represented Texas Tech very well. She's thought highly of Texas Tech. She's remembered her roots, where she came from, and she enjoys coming back here. She enjoys interacting with us. She was a pleasure to have on the faculty. From a selfish standpoint, I wish we could have kept her here. She would have been an outstanding faculty member, but from her standpoint, she's succeeded beyond what any of us could have dreamed would have happened for her. I think you would be hard-pressed to find anyone more deserving than Mica Endsley for the distinguished alumni of Texas Tech.
Well, I'm all choked up now. That was so nice. Thank you, Jim. I just want to say thank you, first of all, to the Alumni Association for this award. It's quite an honor to be here and to get that from you. I said a lot in my speech that you've already heard about how I feel about Texas Tech, but I do want to emphasize that when we come here, the thing that makes us unique, the thing that really creates experience for the students is the faculty, the professors that we have, the lessons we learn. And I want to thank Jim Smith for that lovely speech, and I think Milton Smith is here, some of my professors who were here when I was a student, and many other faculty who were here when I was on the faculty. And I thank all of them for what they do for our students every day. And I thank my husband, Bill, for being here. We all depend on the support of our family. And he's been a rock in supporting my work and aspirations. He even took over my company when I decided to go and work for the Air Force for a couple of years. So that's been tremendous. But thank you all, and go Red Raiders.
Upon graduating high school in Amarillo, Terry Fuller came to Lubbock for a tour of Texas Tech University. After a chance meeting with Dr. Harold Winkler, chair of the Petroleum Engineering Department, he was sold on the bright future of the oil and gas industry. A $500 scholarship sealed the deal. Fuller was an active member of Sigma Chi fraternity and Saddle Tramps while a student. After receiving a Bachelor of Science degree in petroleum engineering from Texas Tech University in 1977, he began his career with Arco Oil and Gas in Midland. He transferred to Denver in 1978, where he worked as a drilling engineer and supervised drilling operations throughout the Rocky Mountain region. Following a brief assignment in Dallas as a staff drilling engineer, Fuller transferred to Arco in the Gulf of Alaska in 1983. He held various supervisory positions at Prudhoe Bay from 1983 to 1990. In 1990, he was promoted to Operations Superintendent in Denver City, Texas, where he was responsible for CO2-enhanced oil recovery operations in West Texas. Fuller is president and founder of Phoenix Petrocorp Incorporated, an independent oil and gas production company with operations in Texas and Oklahoma. Fuller was named a Distinguished Engineer by the Edward E. Whitaker Jr. College of Engineering in 2011 and currently serves as an advisor to the Dean of the College of Engineering and is a member of the Friends of Petroleum Engineering Academy. In 2014, the Bob L. Hurd Department of Petroleum Engineering classes began meeting in the newly constructed Terry Fuller Petroleum Engineering Research Building. Students surprised Terry and Linda with an enthusiastic celebration of the grand new building opening, which features the finest classroom and lab facilities for teaching the latest technology. The $26 million facility was funded entirely with private donations.
He loves this school. He commits financially to this school. We named the Petroleum Engineering Building after him. His wife and he are a pair. They've given money for every single college at the university. I mean, they are involved across the board. Everything he touches, he does with 110% effort. He gives of his time, he gives of his financially, people know of him. But let me tell you the things you may not know. He sits in petroleum engineering classes. And then he comes to me and the department head afterwards and he says, I think I can do a good job in this. I think I'm going to try to figure out a way that I can get out of work and come up here a couple of days a week and teach these kids. He's allowed this college to be able to entertain its alums and outstanding faculty members and staff through his generosity, through the suite we have in the football stadium.
Fuller currently serves on the Athletics Advisory Council and was formerly president of the Red Raider Club National Board. Terry and Linda were inducted into the Athletics Hall of Legacy in 2008.
Terry recognizes the role that intercollegiate athletics plays within higher education. He recognizes the important role that athletic facilities play within intercollegiate athletics. And time again, he continues to invest and to lift this athletics program higher and higher.
The Fuller family commitment to athletics has included the renovation of the Terry and Linda Fuller track facilities, as well as establishing a scholarship endowment in each of the Texas Tech varsity sports.
He named the track the Terry and Linda Track and Field Complex, and I can't tell you what that's meant in a recruiting atmosphere to have one of the top premier track and field complexes in the country. Not only have they given their money, but they've also had an opportunity this last spring as we hosted the outdoor Big 12 championship to build a 3,800 square foot dressing room for our men and our women. It was the premier dressing room in the country, and our kids really had an opportunity not only to enjoy it, but to be able to use it during the meet. But Terry Fuller's going to be the guy that's in the foxhole with you. If you know him like I do, and you know the Metroplex and the road that he keeps hot coming back and forth to every basketball game, any chance he gets, to every event on campus that he can get to, he's not only going to give you his money, but he's going to be there.
You've been a mentor to me for a while now, and you told me the hardest work that a man can ever do is take time alone to think. And I took that to heart, and you know, moving forward with my business career, I always take time to really take time to do that, and it's allowed me to be more strategic in my approach, and I appreciate your wisdom and your knowledge and your friendships.
The Texas Tech University system has recognized the contributions of the Fullers with membership in the Spur Society, Silver Buckle Society, and the Black Boot Society. Terry and Linda reside in Frisco, Texas, and enjoy living near their son, Clint E. Fuller, and his wife, Casey Martin Fuller, both graduates of Texas Tech University. And best of all, Pops really loves spending time with his granddaughter, Cambry.
I don't think that there is anybody more deserving of this honor and recognition than Terry Fuller.
I'm thinking of an achiever. I'm thinking of a guy that is a dreamer. And especially, I'm thinking of a guy that's a champion. Thank you for being the Red Raider Fearless Champion.
Thank you, Dr. Dean, and all the members of the Texas Tech Alumni Association board. It's quite an honor and a thrill, and honestly, it's pretty humbling to be standing here, knowing all of the fantastic alums that we have out there that have been honored at this place before, and the many that will be here in the future. And it really makes me wonder why I'm the guy that's standing up here right now, but I'm going to show you why I think I'm the guy standing up here right now. There's a bunch of students out here that are on scholarships, and if they would, I'd like for each of those students to stand right now. I thank each and every one of you because you are the reason that I'm here accepting this award tonight. If it wasn't for you, well, I just wouldn't be here. You're the reason. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was mentioned on the film there that back in 1973 I came here looking to go into engineering, and I just by happenstance met Harold Winkler, and I didn't even know there was such a thing as petroleum engineering in 1973 because the price of oil was $3 a barrel. And luck and timing is kind of everything. So he offered me a $500 scholarship, which doesn't sound like a lot today, but in 1973, tuition was $4 an hour, so it was a pretty good scholarship in those. Any rate, that's how I became a petroleum engineer, and I never ever forgot the opportunity that excuse me, that Dr. Winkler gave me with that scholarship. It made all the difference in the world for me to be able to go to school here and to get that degree and go out into the world. And so thank you, Dr. Winkler. I appreciate it. At this time, I'd also like to recognize the group of people that I think are really taking this university to places that I strive for, and I want, and I believe that every alum out here and every one of the students that just stood up strives for, and that's the deans of all of our colleges. So the deans who are here, if you would stand up just briefly, as well as Provost Skuvenek.
These are the people that are making a difference in Texas Tech University, establishing a community of scholars, and they are the ones that are inspiring all of these students to do all the great things that they are going to do. So thanks again. And I would just challenge each and every one of you who are out there, whether you're in the administration or you're an alum, to do whatever it is in your life that you can to find a way to give back in support of the effort that these people are putting in to make your university a greater place. I could not think of anything better that you could do than to support those folks. Thank you, guys. So briefly, I would like to also say thank you to, I have a lot of friends, college classmates, fraternity brothers, saddle tramps, a lot of young people who were classmates of my sons who I have become very good friends with, who all took time out of their busy schedules to travel to Lubbock today for this event. And I really, really thank every one of you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of making Texas Tech what it is today and helping me to be here. So thanks a lot. My mom and dad are here from Amarillo. They drive down for every basketball game, every football game, and then they turn around and drive home at night at 10 o'clock at night, whatever time it is. They're big Red Raider fans. But last but not least, I think every one of you knows this, and I don't know that she knows I know this, but the really reason that I am up here tonight, besides all these wonderful students, is my wife, Linda. She shares the same passion I have for this university, and I knew it the first time I met her that she shared that, and it's been a great partnership. I could not have a better friend than I have with her, and it would be very difficult to have supported Texas Tech the way I have if I didn't have somebody who is 100% supporting it as much or more than I am. And Linda, thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Dan Howard was born in Amarillo, Texas to Maureen and Marshall Howard. Dan spent his high school years in Littlefield, where he participated in competitive athletics. After high school, he chose to attend Texas Tech University, where he held leadership positions in student organizations. He graduated with a BBA accounting degree in 1959 and received his CPA designation in 1960. Dan married Kay Alexander in 1960, soon after she graduated from Texas Tech. While at Texas Tech, Dan made many close friends, but none better than Larry Bird.
It has been a great blessing for me to have known Dan Howard for 58 years. Dan and I met when he pledged Phi Delta Theta fraternity my senior year, and he asked me if I would serve as his fraternity big brother during his pledgeship. First, being a big brother to an all-around outstanding young man like Dan Howard was an invitation I did not take lightly. We grew to be the best of friends, and that friendship has grown steadily through the years. As we lived in Dallas at the same time, he completed his tour of duty in the Army National Guard and came to begin his career with Arthur Anderson.
After 3 years in Dallas, Dan and Kay moved back to Lubbock, where he founded Howard, Cunningham, Houchin & Turner, an accounting firm on the cutting edge of technology. Howard is recognized statewide as an expert in his profession and has received numerous distinguished awards. Friends and colleagues spoke of Dan Howard's excellent leadership while in positions with Covenant Medical Center, the Lubbock National Bank Board, the Lubbock Country Club, Lubbock Chamber of Commerce, and First United Methodist Church. Dan was inducted into the Chamber of Commerce Business Hall of Fame in 2007 and, in a surprise announcement, was honored with the William H. Tenney Ethics Award by the Lubbock Rotary Club in the fall of 2014. One of the marks of a successful life is friends. Because Dan reaches out and spends time nurturing relationships, he has many strong and long-lasting friendships.
Dan and I discovered quite early in our lives that we were both Christians, and We attended First Methodist Church in Lubbock and while we were in college, and then we were attending the same church when we were both in Dallas.
When Dan Howard was informed of this award, he said he wanted the focus to be on his family, friends, and Texas Tech. For thousands of Texas Tech fans, homecoming is the chance to head back to campus to be a part of the school and tradition each year. But for Dan and Kay Howard and their family, it's more of a family reunion. And it all started nearly 90 years ago with Mamie Alexander.
She was in the first graduating class at Texas Tech, and so she's really the one that we have to thank for that. Then my mother and dad came to Tech, and then my older brother, Moody Alexander, came to Tech on a football scholarship in the 50s, and then my other brother, Wick Alexander, came to Tech in 54 on a football scholarship, and then I came in 55, not on a scholarship, but got to stay here and graduate from Tech in 1960. And 2 weeks after I graduated, I married Dan Howard.
Their extended family now consists of more than 65 graduates from Texas Tech, including their 3 children. Dan told them they could go anywhere they wanted to.
But if they went to Tech, I'd try to help them a little bit. I was going to see how smart they were, and they all 3 went to Tech.
The family members have attended numerous Tech events, including bowl games, and have served on the Texas Tech Alumni Board and Red Raider Club, but began a tradition of their own 23 years ago.
We are just Lady Raider fans, and we adore Marcia, and one day I just popped off and said, Dan had the football coaches over here when Spike Dykes first came to town, and I said, we need to do the Lady Raiders. So we did. We had a chili supper for the Lady Raiders, and that was even before Cheryl Swoops was at Tech, and it was so much fun for us, and I hope that the young people enjoyed it as much as we did.
We took our team over there every fall, usually in October, sometime before the season started, and sort of had an unofficial pep rally and a kind of a christening of that season, I guess. And the thing I probably remember most about eating over there were Frito pies that were wonderful, and then we always finished it off with ice cream sundaes. Our kids just thought it was the most special thing that we got to do, and that people loved us enough to do that year after year, and really became a part of the Lady Raider basketball family. There's no question they were as much a part of us as our own parents and friends and families, and they just are really special and have always been special to Lady Raider basketball.
For the Howards, the tradition and legacy that started almost 90 years ago in their family will live on forever.
Through the years, Dan and I have played in numerous Red Raider Club and Texas Tech Alumni Association golf tournaments, and I always learned a great deal. Dan was a good golfer, and I always left there knowing that I needed to have a new club or a new iron that Dan played so well with, and I was trying to duplicate him. You serious golfers here tonight, Dan is very modest about his accomplishment, but he has made a hole-in-one 5 times in his golfing career. In my view, Dan Howard is one of the most accomplished, successful men I have ever known, and a man of absolute integrity. He is truly worthy of being a Texas Tech Distinguished Alumnus. Congratulations, Brother David.
I'd so appreciate the previous recipients. First off, I want to compliment them, but I appreciate that they saved so much time for me because I have some notes. You notice they didn't talk with notes, but I brought some notes, and so I could get through this 30 or 35 minute talk. But sincerely, I do want to congratulate them. I didn't know Mica until tonight, and then Terry and I had been acquainted with him because we were involved in tailgating, and he always had that big old tailgate truck, pickup van then that was always there. It looked like about 2 days before the game. I never did understand why you got there that early, but he was always there. So Terry's been a real supporter of the athletics, Kirby. And There's a couple of three that I'd like to mention before I get started, kind of a personal privilege. One of them is Bill Dean. My brother-in-law Wick was the president of the association back in 1975, and he called me and he said, well, the association is thinking about, we need to hire a new executive director, and we're thinking about Bill Dean. He said, what do you think? I said, Wick, I have never seen anybody can do so many things and do them so well and do them all at the same time as Bill Dean. And I was telling Wick this last night, and Wick said, that is the best, one of the best decisions I have made in my entire life. Is that right, Wick? And then secondly, in 1973, we had Peggy Pierce that was already here with the association. And Peggy's been here now 42 years. Peggy is the one that's responsible for our banquet tonight. And thank you, Linda. And they did a fabulous job with Ken Hansen's party that they had at the Civic Center. And just do a wonderful job. I imagine right now she's in charge of special events, but I imagine she's done every job in the whole association. And she takes credit for getting Bill kind of straightened out, because she was here 5 years before he was, and he's given him some leadership. There's one other fellow that I wanted to mention, and that's Jim Douglas. I know Jim probably, Jim, you're probably somewhere back in the back, right? Yeah, there you are. 1979, Jim came, right after Bill came, Jim came, and we've had occasion to do a lot of work, being Rotary together, and just an outstanding job. He's the one that works the chapters for the association all over the country, maybe all over the world, but I know that he goes and meets with the alumni chapters and has done that for since '79, and just has done an outstanding job. Join me in welcoming and bragging on these three. I told Peggy when notified of this award, this is really not about me. In fact, you've already seen enough of me up there, but this is about my family. So I want to change it up a little bit and take a little time and actually introduce my family, because a lot of them are here, and that's the excitement of this whole thing, is having your family. But my partner, Kay, and wife, we've just celebrated our 55th anniversary. Kay? You need to stand up. My son David is here from North Carolina. His wife Laura and the two boys were not able to come. Also sitting next to David is my good friend Bill McMillan. Bill is a known contractor and one of my best friends. Bill. My oldest daughter Beth is here with her husband Carl. They live in New Brunswick. They have their married daughter Katie and her husband Andy. You all stand up a little bit. These are newlyweds. And then my youngest daughter Linda has married Dow. Dow played football at Tech. And they've got Melanie is their oldest daughter. She's here with her fiance. Anyway, Wes already has a job. That's the good news. Stand up, Wes. They're going to get married next Saturday. So if you're not doing anything, Weatherford is going to be the place to be. And then we have Will. Will is a student out here at Tech. And then Luke is a basketball player at Midland Christian. He plays basketball and football. He's my football player. So we're glad to have this family here. Now, I've got one other special person I want to introduce, because this happens to be his birthday. And he admitted to me that it was a real big decision, because his family had planned this real big 80th year birthday party for him. And this banquet tonight came up, and he had to decide what to do. But Jim Burkhart, stand and tell him that you're here tonight on this day. this is really more about our family. As the video said, that we've had over 60 members of our family either attend or graduate from Texas Tech. Kay's aunt was kind of the leader she was the second graduate in May of 1927. That was the first graduation ceremony, and she was the second graduate. We thought for a long time she was first with her last name Alexander, but we finally determined, they've got a picture here, finally determined that she was the second one. Kay's dad played football here at Tech to the time he was able to attend. And then my dad cooked hamburgers in downtown Lubbock and had to thumb a ride back there. Lubbock was so excited about having Texas Tech that if any Tech student put their thumb out, they would stop and give him a ride. Well, Dad, for 4 years, thumbed from the Tech campus to downtown and worked, and then he thumbed back campus for 4 years, and that's how he got his degree. He and Mother married in the middle of the Dust Bowl, and his first assignment was in Vega, Texas. Now that's pretty close to the middle of the Dust Bowl. They are sturdy folks. I was thinking about what I might say tonight, and I got this congratulatory card from dear friends of ours in Horseshoe Bay saying that they could not be here, but they had some comments about congratulating me. But as I read on, they said, you and Kay have a wonderful, supportive family, and they are much loved. And I think Kay should be honored with you. That's one of Kay's ex-roommates, by the way. Said she loves you, well, I knew that, and takes care of all of us. And I know that too. But I got to thinking that's really what I want to talk about a little bit tonight, is some of the things that Kay has done as a Red Raider with our family. One of the first things we did when my oldest son David was coming to Tech, Kay started a Sunday lunch bunch. That meant that you could come to lunch on Sunday and bring your roommate or as many friends as you wanted to, and dinner would be served. Now, we had a requirement in that you had to bring a bulletin, a church bulletin, to say you went to church first. Well, we did pretty good. The exciting thing was Wick's children, his oldest Chuck, was coming out about that same time. Chuck had walked on the football team and later got a scholarship, but Chuck was part of this group, so we had those two college kids and then our other younger children. And that went pretty good for a couple of months. And then one of the girls whispered to me, said, Dad, you might need to check the date on those bulletins that they're using. Well, we had already figured that out. They think as soon as they go to college that Mom and Dad don't know anything anymore. But anyway, this went on with all of our children. And the big deal was every Christmas then, anybody that had been to our house during that semester was invited for Christmas dinner. And so we'd have a whole house full of kids. Some of them we knew, some of them we didn't know. But that was kind of a tradition that was started. Kay did that for about 8 or 10 years. Again, with the students at Tech, that's what we've worked on. You saw the video about the Lady Raiders. They're some of our ladies. Candy Whitaker. She was one of our favorites, a point guard, and now she's back head coach, and she's one of our ladies. But the other thing that I wanted to mention that after, I wanted to really tell you how Kay and I got, because it's kind of interesting how Kay and I got together, because I knew Wick and I were friends, and I knew she was Wick's sister, and that she'd been cheerleader for 9 years in Amarillo or something like that. Everybody knew Kay Alexander. But I didn't go with her until she was working the switchboard at Knapp, and I was working the switchboard at Doak. And you remember the old switchboard, no, some of you don't remember it, but the old switchboard, you had to plug it in to make it work and connect the call. Well, we learned that if we were on the switchboard at the same time, a lot of times at night, that we could plug it into the other dorm and we could visit while we were not taking calls. But also we could take calls, and say, excuse me, and plug it in and keep working. Well, this went on for a while, and then I suggested that we meet after we got off the same time, that we meet over at the Sub and have a Coke or visit a little bit, and they happened to have a jukebox over there in the corner of the Sub. And so we began to dance a little bit. First thing you know, one thing led to another, and we were thinking about getting married. Well, we began to plan on that, and the only thing that we had, Kay had laid out one semester because she went to work that one semester, so she was one semester behind me because both of us started at the same time. So we decided that I would go to the 6-month Army program. Then you could go for 6-month active duty and then have 5.5 years of reserve. Because I already had a job in Dallas, and we'd go 6 months, and then she would stay here and get her degree. And she said, no, I'm ready to get married. I said, no, I'm not going to marry you till you get your degree. So she had to figure out then everything was looking good except she didn't have a place to live. That's when Jim Reynolds, who Kay had been working part-time for, overheard something about didn't have a place to live. He called his wife Beth, and next thing we knew, they had invited Kay to live with them for that 6-month period of time, and as payment for her room and board, helped Beth take care of their 4 children. So that's what happened. I want you to join me. I have Jim Reynolds here tonight, 95 years old. Jim, stand up. Help me thank Jim. When I say family, Jim has been a part of our family all these years because he was one of the most generous people I've ever known. And it's just great to have him here tonight. One of the other things when the kids all kind of got graduated, and of course I have set some kind of record because both of my daughters found their husbands here at Tech and are married to Tech men. Both of my granddaughters have found husbands. Katie's already got hers, and Melanie holding on over there. Okay. But that's just the way we like it, because really what I'm trying to say is that we are so thankful to Texas Tech from our family because of the fact that this many people has been able to get an education. This many people have been able to share it as a family and to talk about it and work. Wick is the #1 recruiter in Arlington, Texas for Texas Tech. A long time he had a swimming pool that had a big double T there, and they would run ads all the time about the kids they need to come to Tech. We got more kids from Arlington during that period of time. And so this family has promoted Tech everywhere that we've been. Kay has furnished things for the kids that are here. Also, one of the little things that she did for our 7 grandchildren, when they finally all got to where they could come, she would invite them for cousins camp. And they would come for a week. And they'd all come and they'd paint their shirts and put their names on it, and they'd all look just alike. And Kay would have activities every day, and this went on for a whole week. And I would join them when I could, but Kay was the main one. Well, this went on for a couple of years, and finally I got my girls together, and I said, girls, 7 days is just wearing your mom out. And I said, what would you think about 4 days? And the girls together said, and 5 nights? Because they always planned trips and getaways at the same time. But that's, again, what brought our family close together with these cousins. They all love one another. They want to be in each other's weddings. Melanie is planning her wedding in Weatherford so that it will be close to Glen Rose, which is our annual Alexandria reunion in Glen Rose during the Easter holidays. We had to move it from Memorial Day to Easter because we had so many kids graduating from high school. But she wanted the kids to be able to come to her wedding. So what I'm trying to say is that we're grateful to Texas Tech for the opportunity that our family has had. 20 years ago, I had prostate cancer, and I kind of adopted a motto back there 20 years ago. And the motto I want to leave you with this. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift from God. That is why we call it a presence. Thank you.
Well deserved, obviously. Chancellor Duncan, would you come forward now? Our last presentation will be to present the medallions to the three recipients. And if all three of you would now return to the podium, please. Come on up to the stage, and Chancellor Duncan will make the presentation of the medallions.
Absolutely, guns up.
One more time, congratulations. Would you join me in congratulating them? There are always behind-the-scenes people. Mike Ogletree and Mike Lewis did all of our audio-visual work tonight, and we appreciate them. And then Ms. Peggy Pierce, I'm not sure how many of these she's put on, but she does a wonderful job for the association, especially for these special events. If you are one of the Fuller Scholarship recipients, and there were many of you here tonight, would you please make your way back through the back door to the Dean Hall and meet at the fireplace? And then, Mr. Fuller, would you also join them for a photograph, please? Photo op, so to speak. Dr. Henry Cloud has written an outstanding book related primarily to business, but it can certainly apply to your personal lives as well. It's called Necessary Endings. And some endings are very simple and easy, effortless for us, aren't they? The spring has now come and the winter is leaving, and we didn't have anything to do with that, but one season after another will surely end. Now, the story is something new and fresh is ready to begin, but an ending must take place. In order to go to this university, you have to end your high school career. In order for a baby to be born, the pregnancy has to end. In order for us to all go home, Dan Howard's speech had to end. It just had to, sooner or later. I think I saved the best one to last right there. That was good. I love you, Marshall Dan Howard, and Miss Kay. So our evening is also ending, but I think in a very appropriate way. The Texas Tech Red Raider Band is standing by between the steps of the library and the Student Union building to lead us in the Matador song. So if you would all stand up, look at your screens, and you will see the Texas Tech Band live via videotape. Thank you for coming tonight.